Well, hello, Melanie.
How are you today?
I'm excellent. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining me again for day three, opportunity three, to talk to you while you are in medical isolation at CFB, Canadian Forces Base Trenton, Ontario, where you have been now. I believe this is the eighth day. You've,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we got six
yeah.
days left. Yeah.
So let me just say kudos to you for continuing to smile and continuing to have that wonderful laugh and cheer and sharing with everybody who is watching how you really can make the best of a situation that is challenging and completely foreign to all of us. It's not like we've been rehearsing this all of our lives.
No.
And how you are giving us insight on what it's like to be actually inside COVID-19's quarantine protocols, and how you are doing well managing that, what your best practices are, and what your learnings and experiences are. So we've already had two great conversations on YouTube, and I
Right.
introduced us before, but I am Isabel Banerjee, and I'm in Tucson, Arizona, and I'm a longtime fan and friend of Melanie Sibbitt, who is from Toronto but transplanted to Victoria, British Columbia. And we are just doing our part, doing our
Yeah.
part to help people keep their spirits up,
Yeah.
um, spread the love, don't spread the virus. And before we went live, Melanie was just sharing great news. She has a flight booked home. So why don't you explain just briefly, Mel, what the protocols are going to be about, um, giving you a safe and
Mhm.
full pass.
Right. Right. So we are due to be released, as we've talked about, on March 24th, which is next Tuesday.
Mhm.
And we understand we've been given instructions that the process will start approximately 7 a.m. and the nurse will start visiting everybody to take our temperatures. Once we go through that process and our temperature is fine, then we move on to the next part of the process, that they will take us through a health checkup. I don't know anything other than they're going to do a health checkup, so I don't know what that entails yet. But once we clear that, then we move on to getting our release papers, that we have been in quarantine for 14 days. So, and then after that, we'll be making arrangements to get to the airport. And then, yes, I have booked my flight home, so I'm ecstatic about that. Yeah.
These are the sorts of things that I'm sure most of the world doesn't even think about, like the logistical aspect of this.
Right.
You know, giving you a clean bill of health, a pass. You know, you should get like a badge, or I don't know, a medal maybe, for 14 days of being a good sport and being part of a community that don't even get to really interact much with each other. But for those of you who don't know, Mel was one of 237 Canadian passengers that were disembarked 8 days ago from the Grand Princess cruise ship and transported by Canadian Forces on a cargo plane overnight, rather adventurous experience, into an airport hangar in Trenton, Ontario. And they have been billeted in individual rooms, kept in segregation from each other, but cared for by the Canadian Red Cross, and provided opportunities to get some fresh air and get outside, but still respecting the social distance protocols and all of the health protocols.
Yeah.
And I even had the opportunity one day when Melanie and I were talking. Um, that I had a little sneak peek about the protocols that the service providers have to observe in wearing full hazmat suits to come in and, bring supplies into the room. So talk about a surreal experience, right?
Very much so. Very much so.
Wowzer, wowzer.
Yeah, the movie still continues.
Yeah, like really, totally. This is like a strange new Netflix series that's going on here.
Yeah.
Well, part of our commitment to do this together was to show people that there are some ways to make the best of the situation and some ideas and practices that will help minimize the fear and the frightening aspects of this and the inconvenience of it. And as good cheerleaders that we are, we thought we'd share a few tips today on what you might incorporate into your life and your practices if you've been told to work from home, or if you are, because you're just a good citizen, practicing self isolation or self quarantine for a while for various reasons. So Mel, you're the expert.
I'm the expert on quarantine.
Well, yeah, and spreading the love for sure. So yeah, give us a one tip, and I'll give you one of mine.
I think laughter. Laughter is integral to being in isolation, whether you're alone
Mhm.
or whether you're with family members.
Right.
Gotta remember to stay light and airy. It's a time for anxiety for some people
Yep.
because of the unknown of it.
Hmm.
But truly, if you can find things that make you laugh, just before we got on the call, somebody had posted this really hysterical piece on Facebook, and it was all those goofy autocorrect spelling on text.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had tears running down my face. I was laughing out loud. It was hysterical. And, I'm sure anybody walking by outside in the hall listening to me laugh are going, okay, what is she what is going on in there? But
She's
really,
finally cracked up, right?
she's lost it.
Yeah.
But really, I think that is a priority in being able to get through this whole process. Regardless, I'm here. People need to self-isolate. It's really, really, really important
Mhm.
that we adhere to the guidelines and stay in our homes, stay hunkered down, because it's really the only thing that is going to stop the spread of the virus and hopefully eventually eradicate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I'm laughing with you at the prospect, and certainly I have a few autocorrects of my own that would be humorous, let me say, and making me humble as well. Um, Okay, well, along that line, one of my thoughts, because, Melanie and I are co-authors together in a book, and one of the chapters in the book, which is entitled Who Am I Now? Feminine Wisdom, Uncensored, Unmasked, Uncensored, is entitled Too Much of a Good Thing. And for those of us who are adapting to spending 24/7 with our spouses and significant others and family members, I thought the title of Too Much of a Good Thing would resonate. And and so, yeah, so just again, laughter, keep a sense of humor, establish some friendly terms in terms of boundaries, understanding that coming together to spend that much time every day, it's new, and it requires an adaptation.
Mhm.
And so I'll add that. I also want to mention, for those of you that have been following, one of the things that we have offered to do is share the chapter that Melanie wrote in the book. If you subscribe on my website, isabelbanerjee.com, we're going to send you a free PDF of Mel's chapter entitled Emotional Tsunami. And she's on land right now, but she's been on water. That's where this began, and she's got a brilliant story that will help you all navigate the choppy seas, right? All right, tip number 2 from Melanie.
Well, you know what? Let me just go back to that one that you just talked about family being all together in one space right now.
Right.
It's and talking about boundaries. Be respectful of people's space.
Yep.
Right. So, if somebody doesn't want to hang out with you in the house right now, be okay with it. Don't take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's dealing with this situation differently. So if you've got teenagers, they may want to just hang out in their room and be on their social media. And you know what? For now, that's okay. If that's how they can, because it's going to help them stay connected, right?
Right.
So that's the other thing I'm going to say. That would be my point number 2. Stay connected with the people that you love, right? So stay connected by social media. Get on the phone, have dinner together. As a family, have dinner together and talk about what's going on. Talk about how you might be feeling and talk about things that you might want to do together. So that would be my next thing, is the connection piece, right? Because through the connection, we're going to be stronger and we will get through it together.
I love that. And, I'm going to jump in and piggyback on that too, as my next tip. This is a temporary situation.
Yeah.
It's not a forever situation, but as we discussed before, it is an opportunity to reset in a lot of circumstances, the personal habits and patterns and interactions and relationships. So look for the good opportunities in this close proximity time with relationships, and start to
Yeah.
plan the things you'd like to do later. Because this is just temporary. Let's get out there later. Let's be creating vision boards and vacation journals and I don't know, projects around the house where everybody's together now and we've got some time, right, to do that. So I think I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. Actually, projects around the house. I mean, we're coming up to springtime. How about let's get our bicycles ready for the springtime?
Oh, good idea.
Right? Like let's get the things that are gonna get us out and keep us moving and keep us engaged and keep us exercising. Maybe do that right now.
Yeah.
Maybe start getting the garden ready. This is a time for you to be, it's great, for people that are in areas where you can get your hands into the soil. A friend of mine posted the other day that her and her husband were working in their backyard. That's what their plan was. And they posted pictures, and their backyard is beautiful. So this is a really good time for doing that kind of thing. Doing little fix-up jobs around the house, maybe painting the house if you wanted to paint some rooms or anything like that. It's a good time for fix-up and preparation.
I love that. Absolutely. And isolation doesn't mean that you have to stay inside the 4 walls, right? To be out in your yard, to be in a walk. My husband and I go for a walk every morning along what is called the Rito River Path here in Tucson, and our circuit is 2.3 miles. I have noticed in the last couple of mornings, because we go very early, that there are more people out walking. So that's an indicator to me that whether they are teachers or students or, companies that have assigned work from home policies where optional, are recognizing this as an opportunity to be out without causing risk or contradicting safe protocols, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
super.
And staying in, keeping the safe distance that you've got to,
Right.
that's an important piece.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was thinking too, why not have a dance party? Yeah.
There you go.
Laughter, movement are really good for keeping our spirits up,
Right,
right? And
right.
today, I mean, there's any number of great opportunities with YouTube Music and Spotify and Pandora and whatever. Or if you're fortunate to have family members or um, cohabitants that have an instrument, and to maybe get a family group on Zoom or
Right.
Skype from different parts of the country and have
Yeah.
a sing-along
Oh,
or
that'd be fun.
yeah, maybe it's kind of like going back to the more traditional times. I grew up on a farm in our
Yeah.
rural area in Canada, and so those Saturday night barn dances. It's, where people came together and
That's
you
right.
caught up on all the news and you got some exercise and interaction socially. We can just do that, a virtual barn dance now.
Well, look at how cool it is that we have Zoom and
Yeah.
various other things that we can keep people connected on. A friend of mine posted that she started doing Facebook Live yoga sessions.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so you still need to keep exercising
Mhm.
because you know sometimes being isolated, you get into the kitchen cupboard into the bag of cookies. So we have to keep moving.
Not saying a word.
So I thought that was really cool. I took part in that with her today because I thought that was really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was something that I don't do often. I mean, I've never really done yoga, so it was really neat to do that with her. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, maybe we could have a yoga dance party together or
Oh, there you
something.
go.
I
I
don't.
like
I
it.
don't know. Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste.
Okay. So, for all of you that are watching, um, don't misunderstand that Melanie and I both really understand the seriousness and the consequences of an event like this. But that isn't all that's happening. In fact, some good things are happening around this reconnection with people, reconnection with ourselves, as you and I spoke yesterday,
Yeah.
self-care, self-love, self-compassion, and an opportunity to really reassess what our priorities are in the world and how to come back together as humanity, looking out for each other.
Yeah.
To all the businesses that are affected, we're here rooting, thinking about how we can do our very best to support you all in that time. To those that have surplus anything in their lives, whether, I don't care, toilet paper or spam or whatever,
Mhm.
ask your neighbors, do they need some help? Do they need some support? Ask your people who are less mobile and maybe more at risk, can you
Right.
shop for them?
Right.
Can you do errands for them? And I just think that collectively as humanity and womanity, that it's time to dig down and think about how we can help our neighbors, right?
I'm with you.
So how can we explore that some more tomorrow, Melanie?
I'd love to do that. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I've
Uh,
seen some great things happening. So
all
yeah,
right.
let's talk about that tomorrow.
All right, we're the good news girls. All right, to all of you out there, stay safe, but be happy as much as you can and spread the love.
Absolutely.
All right, until
Have a great
tomorrow.
day.
Bye.
Bye.